Welcome back. And in the last class, we looked at the if function. We're able to use the if function to make remarks, to generate grades, and then to detect the location for vacation. So in this class, we'll be looking at the lookup function. And we basically have a lot of data on our spreadsheet. So I will just create a new spreadsheet using the same data. Right click my intermediate, move a copy, or just create a copy, move it to just before sheet 4. So we have an intermediate 2. Let me rename this. If you are looking for how we did all this, we handled all that in the basic classes. So this is intermediate lookup. It's still the same spreadsheet with the intermediates, but now we can make some changes and remove some things that we don't need. Okay, so I think I don't need this anymore. I'm going to delete that. I'm trying to create some space. But that's okay. That's okay. Um, in our basic classes, we learned how to freeze pins. So I'll just freeze some of these pins. I think I need the names, I need gender, I think I need the department. So let me start by freezing these particular pins. Okay, so they stay frozen. Now I can move all this and I can see names, gender, and departments. Okay, so let me make some more space so we'll see what we are doing here. Good. Now I want to use the VLOOKUP function. Now the lookup function is another logical function just like the if function. So we go to lookup. So we have lookup. This one looks up a value from one row or one column range from an array provided for backward compatibility. We have the HLOOKUP, we have the match, we have the VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP are the same, just that the reference point has to be a table in vertical for the VLOOKUP, and the reference point has to be a table in the horizontal orientation for the HLOOKUP. So these are table. This is our reference. This our table is vertically oriented. So we use the VLOOKUP. So now we are saying we are looking up the departments. So now lookup value and looking up the departments. We are saying check up the departments in this table. So we select everything on this table. I'm saying check up the department in this table. Now this looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns the value in the same returns a value in the same row for a column you specify. So this is the leftmost column of this table. So lookup function looks up department in the leftmost column and then brings up the value in the column I specify. So I'm going to specify this is column 1 of this table, this is column 2 of this table. So I'm going to specify is to give me a return value from the column 2. Then the next thing is a logical value. Find the closest match, ascending order, true is omitted, find the exact match is false. What I need now is an exact match. I want the exact return value for maths and logic. So I'm going to use false. I enter. Okay. So you can see it gives me Kenya just like this Kenya. So I'm going to explain it again. What it means here is VLOOKUP looks up any data in the department. It looks it up in table W3 to XY, looks it up into this table. This table becomes our reference point, and then it brings out the answer from the second column. And what it looks up in the range has to be exactly maths and logic. So in other words, whatever it sees on the left of this table, it brings out the answer on the right. So if it sees maths and logic, which is on the left, it brings out Kenya, which is on the right. Now, it's important to note that when working with Excel, as you move down the cells, every reference also moves. So if I am to move this down the cell, you see the reference table has moved down by a cell. If I move this down by one more cell, check this, it also moved down by one more cell. However, we want to maintain these first cells. So how do we do that? Let me just undo these last two. Now to undo that, we go to our table array and then we click on F4. F4 puts $2 signs, $1 before the alphabet and $1 before the number, which means it is not going to shift its reference point from this preset table. So we hit our enter, and with that, if we drag this down, we can also see here that our table remains the same. It doesn't move. We drag this down, drag it two more, and let's check this one. So it says our table didn't move. So we have what we want. We can now drag down. So this was done using the if function, while this was done using the lookup function. And we can see the answers are the same. So for any staff going to Kenya, they were in the maths and logic department. For any staff going to Canada, they were in the engineering department. For any staff going to UK, they were in the medical department. Now, this was done using the VLOOKUP function, and I explained that the VLOOKUP function has to be when the reference table is arranged vertically. So what if the reference table is arranged horizontally? So I'm going to just copy this and make another reference table here. I'm going to paste and I'm going to transpose. So now you see it's actually the same table, but now the orientation is horizontal. So in this case, if we use the VLOOKUP function, it is not going to work. We now have to use HLOOKUP. Okay, so let's try the VLOOKUP and see what it gives to us. VLOOKUP. I'm looking up our departments, comma. We are looking it up using our horizontal table. We are saying take what is on the top and give us the answer on the second two, and then we say look up the exact match. So you see, it gives us any, which means something is actually wrong. So it tells us something is actually wrong. The only way this is going to work is if we give it the correct arrangement of the reference, which is H lookup. So we're going to use our correct lookup function, which is H lookup. We are saying what our lookup value, we are looking up the departments, comma. Where are we looking it? I'm looking it up on this table. Now remember, since we don't want the table to adjust as we go down the cells, we hit F4 and it adds our dollar sign to maintain the table even as we drag down. So we want our responses from the second column. So we'll say column 2. And then we want it to be exact match. And then you see we have the same responses we had when we used the if function and when we used the VLOOKUP function. So it depends on how your reference table is arranged. If it's arranged horizontally, you use the HLOOKUP. If it's arranged vertically, you use the VLOOKUP function. So I'm going to rename this, just for reference purpose, VLOOKUP. I'm going to rename this HLOOKUP. So if you like this video, subscribe, share, ask a question in the comments, and then we'll see you in the next class. Thank you.